Hey everyone, it's Emily and this is Emmylou Arts, and I'm so glad that you're here today because I am working on my holiday journal. I am planning on making this journal so that after the season rolls around, I can print off my pictures, stick them in here with my journaling, and ta-da, I'll have a very cute journal that captures our holiday season all together. So stick around and see how I decorate it and maybe pick up a few tips. Just maybe. Okay, I know there's some people that like to hear the how and the why behind things, so that's why I'm going to include this version, which is a little chatty. But I got this set of papers from Tuesday morning, and it's an Echo Park set of scrapbook papers for Christmas, and it came with the 12 by 12 sheets of scrapbook paper and then one sheet of stickers. So right now I am just marking out a notebook, well, papers that are, let's see, 11 by 7 because I want them to be 5.5 by 7 inches tall, 5.5 inches wide. So that's what I did. 5.5 inches wide when they're folded together, and then 7 inches high, which is what I want my notebook to be that I made for the Traveler's Notebook that I made from the Dollar Tree. So, and I ended up cutting those papers with my rotary cutter and mat, and then I shaved another probably quarter of an inch off of it just to even up the pages. And now I am folding all of the pages in half. I thought this was a steal because that Echo Park set of Christmas papers that I found was $5.99. So for all of these double-sided papers was $5.99, and then the set of stickers that I use. So that came with it. And then I had showed you another set of stickers that I use also in this set. None of my Friesen Season simple stories do I use in this. None of that, because this is just like it's a different color scheme, it's a different theme. So right now all I'm using is that. And I had recorded a picture of that, and then it didn't work. So so now I am taking all of these folded in half papers and I'm arranging them how I think they would look nice together, like opened in a book, so that no two patterns are too similar together, and things like that. So I divided these papers up into two inserts because I had enough papers that I thought that I would make two separate inserts. So I made 5 sheets in each insert because I had 10 papers that I really liked. I picked out 10. So each insert had 5 papers, and they're double-sided, so that made quite a bit. And I'm just holding them together with one of these hair bands that I got from the Dollar Tree. And I hadn't decided yet if I was going to stitch these inserts together or if I was just going to put them in the notebook and let the elastic hold them together. So that's why I'm using this hairband right now to hold them together. And I attach them to the in the middles and then put that through the one band in my Traveler's Notebook just to see what the kind of thickness was like, and if I liked that. I do like a chunky notebook, so I did like the two of them in there, but I knew that I would be adding journaling and photos, so I did decide to rearrange some of the pages. And I decorated like half of one insert in this video, which you'll see. And then I will give you a flip through of the total notebook, which I've done now, and I am absolutely in love with, and I can't wait to show you. But it got kind of boring because it was sort of more of the same. So right now I made sure to measure out the paper for my inserts first so that I would know that I had the base papers covered, and then the rest I used for decoration. So I measured out, pockets using my extra papers, and these were kind of the things that I used to decorate. But if you've never scrapbooked before, like actual scrapbooking, which I never really have done in a formal sense. So I've never laid out pages sort of like this before with just fancy, pages and papers. So it really took me a while to get used to trying to blend the patterns together. So as you can see, the front of this insert was kind of circles, and so I chose like a contrasting stripe because I knew I wanted to have a photo on the cover of that insert, probably. And then these die cuts were part of another pack that I got at Tuesday Morning. I bought 2 of them and they were different, and they did not, you can see they're pebbles. They did not match the Echo Park paper. They were separate, but I liked how they worked together, and I liked that they weren't so matchy-matchy because the Pebbles die cuts introduce that kind of light blue color, which none of the Echo Park papers had, and I just liked them together. In this video, I kept in all of the rummaging around through the different die cuts and everything and the papers because I wanted you to see my process. Because it's not, I pick one thing and I stick it down in the first place that I choose. It's a lot of trial and error. So this version is a little bit longer because I wanted you to see all that. And I'll try to explain my reasoning behind that, what I pick. I really liked that little snow globe. And then, like I said, the stripes against the sort of round circle background I really liked because it was sort of contrasting patterns. And then inside of that snow globe, I end up sort of copying the little tree theme because there's those triangle trees inside of the snow globe. And so I kind of copy that up at the top corner. And now I have a Sprocket, HP Sprocket, that prints 2x3 photos, which I was planning on using in this journal. And also I'll probably print like more 4x6 or photos, after Christmas or after, different things that I want to put in here. But I'm planning on using quite a few Sprocket photos, so that's why some of the little mats that I put down are pretty small, is because those Sprocket photos are pretty small. Now, one of these papers I set aside that had these long horizontal strips because I knew I wanted to use a lot of these horizontal strips for pockets. So I set those aside and did not make those into their own separate page for a reason. There was a method to this madness, if you can imagine. So I set aside that piece of paper, and then I started just trimming out pieces that I liked. So I always try and think about what my background pattern is and what I'm going to put on top of it. Like if my background pattern is super busy, I try and pick maybe more of a solid with less of a pattern to go on top of it, or a contrasting color to go on top of it. So I picked that little banner with the green, and I didn't end up loving it, but I ended up adding a die cut to it, which made it better and that I liked. And as I went through this, it was much more of a draft kind of thing. I went through the whole notebook and decorated it, and then I went back through and added more things, and then I went back through again and added tabs, which you'll see at the end, which I think are really cute, and they drew everything together. So I hope you stick around until the conclusion of this series for that, because this was just like the first go around. So don't think that things have to be final and perfect on this, go through. Because to me, this is like the first draft, the first go around. You kind of put things down that you like, that, spark your fancy, and it can all sort of evolve from there. So I picked things that were contrasting in color. I loved those little peppermints and little gingerbread because they were different colors and they stood out from that snowflake, that kind of gray snowflake background. And then I loved that little cup of hot chocolate. I thought it was so cute. I ended up picking that just because I thought it was so cute. And the peppermint sort of went with it, sort of like peppermint hot chocolate kind of thing. So I thought that was adorable. And the big blank spaces that you see that I leave are going to be meant for photos later on. And then I am picking a stripe to contrast with those like circles on the other page. And I wish I had a big guillotine paper cutter because that would have been coming really, really handy. All I have is my really tiny one, so I did a lot of paper cutting by hand and then just sort of, cutting with my scissors sort of halfway. So it's not all perfect, but it definitely worked for me. So definitely mix up where you put your pockets. If you put pockets, you can put them on the top. You can put them down the side. You can put diagonal pockets. You can make a belly band in the middle, which you'll see I do on some of my pages. But for this one, I decided to make it on the side, and I was using a glue. I think this was the Scotch brand glue. I've almost gone through all my glue sticks, so I was kind of down to the last one here. So I just put it on 3 sides and then made sure to leave that long end open so that it would be a pocket for me. And then I cut another little band out of those strips of paper, and this looks like a musical sheet, and I love it. I think it's so cute, and it has Christmas song lyrics on it, and I just decided to add that in just to mix it up a little bit. Just think about how you're layering your patterns. The more layers you add, the more interesting and the better it's going to look. If you just add one paper and then one sort of matted centerpiece, I mean, it might be pretty, but it's just sort of bland, in my opinion. But as you can see through through what I'll show you, I maybe tend to overdo things, but it's all your own taste. So, I mean, this is your journal, your Christmas or holiday journal, so do it the way that you like, but I'm just telling you how I sort of view things as I'm decorating them. I sort of put in some of those journaling cards and then some of the die cuts that I liked, I stuck in there, and I was just sort of pulling out of that stack to see what I liked. And just always keep in mind when you're doing this to not overthink it. Like, it really, this all seems like it took me a long time, but I did this whole entire journal in one day. One insert was probably like noon to 3 p.m. before I picked my kids up from school, and then the second insert I did after dinner from like 6 to 7:30. So I'm not agonizing over every step in the way. You just got to do it. Glue it down and move on. It can't be about sheer perfection. But I stuck in some tabs and then some more pieces of paper, and my goal with those are to be a place where I could journal, a place where I could stick a sprocket photo, a pocket where I could stick in a printed photo. I just want there to be places that I can put things. And that was the main problem that I had with some of the December daily albums, was because we don't do anything special like every single day in December. I just needed an undated album that I could put in special memories from this season. like this Christmas holiday season. I didn't need it to be like December 1st, we made gingerbread houses, and I don't have my shit that together, like not even close. So I just needed a general holiday album, and that's what this is for me. So you can tell that I used some contrasting paper. Now here, they're both a little bit busy, but the colors are very different. And then that Nutcracker sticker was from the sticker pack that came with the Echo Park papers. And then I'm mixing in these die cuts, which are not Echo Park. They're from a completely different set. Like those floral patterns are not. They're from a different die cut set. So don't be afraid to mix and match. I mean, I wouldn't mix and match like a ton of different elements, but for some reason I thought that these went together. The die cuts were a little bit more whimsical, and the Echo Park was a little bit more traditional Christmas, and I liked them together. I liked the contrast that they made for each other. And on that other sheet, it was sort of green with a busy, small background. So I decided to do the contrasting bigger pattern in the circles as a pocket. And I left that red candy cane sort of matte for a photo when I choose to put in my photos. Now, the purpose of doing this is so that you actually record these memories after they happen, because sometimes, if I had to do this all at Christmas time, I probably wouldn't do it. But now it's all prepared for me, and all I have to do is journal or print off a Sprocket photo, and my album is done. And I've never done anything like this, but it really appealed to me. Watching other people decorate theirs made me really excited, and I really liked the idea of having something ready that I could just stick photos into. So one of those, that blue one, is just a piece of scrapbook paper that I cut out that I thought I could journal on. That little ornament is from that sticker pack that came with the paper. And then the journaling card also came with the Echo Park papers. And I just love it. I think it's so precious, like together. And I really love how it comes together in the end. I'm so excited to show you guys. So I'm cutting out more strips. Now this is busy. It's very busy. And you can tell that the background is sort of white with the snowflakes, and then what I chose to put on there as like a belly band, which is just gluing down the edges so that you can stick something through the middle. It's not a true pocket. It just sort of holds things in, kind of, just by the sides, if that makes any sense. So I choose this thing that isn't, when I stop and look at it, very contrasting. So what I do next is choose this green sticker from one of the Echo Park sticker sheets, and I add that to the bottom piece of the scrapbook paper, but it's not on the sticker, so I can still stick things through that belly band. And then I cut off a strip of green paper to put above it to also, make it stand out from that white background, because they were both rather white. But first I think I cut out that journaling card, and then maybe tried on some things for size there, but then noticed that I liked having that there to set off that belly band pocket. Which I think really helps. Just make sure that you look at your patterns and your colors and make things really jump off the page by using your color and your pattern. And then I stuck in that Silent Night little die cut sticker. And then I'm just using my scraps to go on to the red. Obviously I chose the contrasting green. And that's a sticker from the Echo Park sticker pack or sticker sheet. It was all of the scrapbook papers and then one big sticker sheet. I really wish that I would have had that to show you. Now the sticker sheet that I'm holding now is a different sticker pack from Authentic. It's a scrapbook brand that I had just, this is a one sheet of stickers that I got from a scrapbook store that was going out of business. So these stickers I also kind of worked in here and there where I thought they worked. And that's about it. So that did not come with the Echo Park sticker pack. Now I am cutting out more of those horizontal pieces. So when you start building an album, what I would do first is pick out your base pages so that you know you have big enough pieces of paper to cover your base pages. And then what's left, after you've cut them out, your scraps you use to make pockets, to make belly bands, to make tip-ins, things like that. But make sure that you have your base pages covered first. And each scrapbook paper pack usually comes with one that it comes with a multitude of patterned papers that are 12 by 12, and then it normally comes with one that is more of cards that you can cut up that would be for journaling or just cutesy sayings or whatever, and then some that are like horizontal strips. And those I think are usually meant to be sort of decorative and sort of help the theme of whatever you're decorating. So I would sort of set those aside and leave those out of the ones that you cut up for your main pages and use those as decoration. That blue piece of paper is another piece of scrapbook paper that was a one-off that I got from that scrapbooking store that was going out of business. And the rest is just stickers that I stuck on. And this is just sort of eyeballing and seeing what you like. And you can see that I try things and decide that I don't like them and just kind of see where they go. Stick things behind pockets, in front of pockets, because that's the fun part of these albums is, when you pull things out, you see things that you didn't see, before when the journaling card was inside the pocket. So like that little elf, I love tucking him down behind, so he kind of looks like he's peeking up. And then my journaling cards, some of these sticker packs or sticker sheets had some tabs on them, and I love adding tabs. So I added a tab to that journaling card, or I don't even have to journal on that. I could put a sprocket photo. It's all just kind of what you feel in the moment and what you feel like is balanced. Now, for me, my style is, as you can see, kind of busy and more haphazard than some people that are very planned. I don't sit and agonize over everything. I just stick it down and figure if I like it, I like it. If I don't, then I'll do something else later to fix it the way that I like it. So now this green background, I picked that sort of red polka dot to make a side pocket, and I just glued the top and the right side and the bottom to make that pocket, and then cut out one of the journaling cards to slip in there. And I'm just so excited about this because it will make things so easy for me to, slip in here, and it's not like I'll have pictures from Christmas sitting on my phone for ages, waiting for me to make an album or to scrapbook about it, because all I have to do is print them off and put them in here where I've already prepared the places where they could go and places where I could journal about things. So I'm really excited to give this a shot this year because it's different than anything I've ever done. Now, the back of that piece of paper was the back of the set of scrapbook papers, so it had like a barcode on it and stuff. So I stuck a sticker on there to sort of hide that. And then the little candy cane sticker, you can see that I picked it because obviously the candy canes are red and the red polka dots are red, but it's got white around it so that it popped up out of it. There was some contrast there. Now, in the Traveler's Notebook, in the center of your notebook, you've obviously got this big spread where you can do something a little bit more large. So I chose this diagonal green stripe to go over this kind of red curly Q pattern. And I was going to make a large pocket that went across the 2 pages. So I measured that out and then trimmed it up and then glued the right and left side and the bottom. And then that created a pocket that I could stick things in. And I love pockets because they offer you some freedom in the end, because you can stick in more photos. You can stick more than one photo in there. You could stick, if you had a lot to say that day, if something really special happened, you could, journal on a sheet of paper and fold it up and stick it in that pocket so that you have all of your things captured that day. The pocket can hold it. It doesn't have to be just a couple of sentences. It can be whatever you want it to be. And then these houses were part of the Echo Park pack, and I cut them so that they wouldn't go across the fold, because having things across the fold is kind of tricky. A lot of times they'll kind of break and not look very well, or look very good. So I cut it and then moved it like sort of a millimeter over from the fold so that it wouldn't get all messed up in the center. And then I picked more stickers and thought about what I could use there. And you can see I like to keep this in because you can see the trial and error. I try a multitude of different things and think, oh, I don't like that. But for some reason, I loved this little trailer. It's like the little Winnebago. So I put that up there and then decided to put the tree on the green diagonal stripe, which I really liked. So I glue that down. This project, I blew through my leftover glue sticks. It used up the rest of my supplies for sure. And then I put more on that green diagonal. Now, this maybe I could have left to do more decoration later, but I was just having fun sort of sticking things down. The green diagonal sort of seemed kind of like the foreground, like the grass to me, and then the buildings, the little houses, and then the red was sort of the background. So I was just putting things in the grass, sort of, if you will, like the little tree and the elf. And then I cut some of that music paper, a little strip of it, to put at the top, just to break it up a little bit. Because I like things to be busy. I don't know. I just think it looks more interesting and vintage, or not even vintage, just more cozy, I guess, with more going on. And I like my journals to look cozy. I don't like them to look perfect. I like them to look sort of lived in and loved and just worked on. I don't care if they look overworked. And I just liked breaking up that red with the musical notes. And then I picked out this Merry Christmas sticker from the sticker sheet, and I put it on the green diagonals, and I don't love how it turned out because the green Christmas, the word Christmas sort of blends in with the green diagonal, and that's why I tried to add in that red sort of sticker to make it kind of pop out a little bit. It didn't work so hot, but I don't hate this spread, but I don't know. I could have done something different in the middle. I'm not in love with it. But I mean, even as I say that, I still think it's adorable with the little Winnebago thing, the little trailer and the houses. I still think it's super cute. So right now, I think what I'm doing is cutting up, trying different die cuts to see if I like those there. And then I think I cut up some of the journaling cards and different tags to stick in there. What I do want to do is get some red ribbon, some thin red ribbon that I can tie around my tags and stuff like that, because I didn't have anything in my stash that would have looked cute, but I think that would be adorable to have some red ribbons hanging out or green ribbons hanging out of the journal from attaching to the tags. I think that would be really cute. So I'm just sticking in the cards, which I know that I can put on pictures later, and then I'm seeing stickers. And don't forget to decorate your journaling cards also. And this one I actually use, that sheet had some tab stickers, and sometimes if you pick two stickers that are the same shape, then you can turn them into a tab by sticking it to one side of your paper and then to the back side of your paper, just up above where it would be flush with the top, and turn it into a tab. Did that make any sense? That sounded like gibberish. But you can see here that I'm only halfway through this first insert, and I'm going to stop here so that I don't bore you to death. But I'm so glad that you guys tuned into this one. Keep watching for the next one. Thanks!